everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wool in the Wardrobe. My name is Kelsey. It is Monday, February 22nd, and this is episode number 2. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back, and if you're new, this is a podcast about knitting, spinning, and hand dyeing yarn in York County, Pennsylvania, where I live and am from. So you can find me on Instagram as Primrose Yarn Company, CO, not company spelled out. And you can find me on Ravelry as Sins and Needles 89. And you can also find me on Twitter as Sins and Needles 8. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get the podcast going. I'm going to go through knitting FOs. I'm going to talk about whips, stash enhancement, segue into future whips that I plan to have, and finish up with yarn news, blather, and shop update stuff. So I'll save the non-knitting, directly knitting related stuff for the very end for those of you who aren't interested. But with that being said, let's go. My knitting FOs. I'm actually wearing it. It is my Lily Pilly, and that's totally the wrong side. It's my Lily Pilly shawl by Amba O'Brien. And she's been coming out with these beautiful striped patterns that I'm absolutely loving because they have lace in them most of the time. I'll take it off so you guys can see. But for the most part, this is the repeat. And isn't that lace? Like, oh my gosh, to die for. When I was knitting this pattern, it seemed like miles and miles of garter stitch, but it was nice because it was kiss knitting, so I could watch TV while I was doing it. And for those of you who aren't familiar with kiss knitting, I refer to it as keep it simple stupid. So it's like potato chip stuff. And then when I got tired of it, it was nice because it was right around the point where I had to do the lace. So so you cast on here. And then you work this massive panel of lace. And then you have another huge repeat, as you can see, of the garter. And then it finishes up with lace again. So I really, really loved this pattern. I definitely am addicted to her style of designing because it is a lot of garter stitch, and I think that that's very trendy right now, but I also love it because it's not overly complex, and I think that when you do too much lace, it has a tendency to look a little dated eventually, but I think that this is a really retro-y, fun new way to kick it up a notch with the lace. So I'm definitely going to be knitting more of her stuff. I'm definitely, for those of you who don't know me and my knitting tendencies, I'm addicted to garter stitch. And it's mostly because I'm a stay-at-home mom with my 3-year-old daughter. And when I'm dyeing yarn and when I'm trying to watch a crazy little toddler who loves to run around and cause chaos, it's easy for me to be knitting on garter when I don't really have to pay attention, and all I really am concentrating on are the rows that I'm knitting, like how many for a repeat. So I'm addicted, and I will definitely be knitting more of her stuff. I'll talk about the yarn real quick. I don't know if you guys can see, but the light color here is my main color, and that is my Helix base, and the colorway name is Fantasia. And then the orange color next to it, the red orange, is actually a discontinued colorway called Tomato by Hedgehog Fibers, by Madelinetosh, sorry. And it's also their Twist Light base. And then again, Twist Light base, and it's Raspberry Cordial and Madelinetosh. And if you watched my last episode, I did a review of Madelinetosh and their Twist Light, and I love it. I think it's one of the best bases that they have. If you're not familiar with it, I would go ahead and buy a skein. I'll talk about that later in the stash enhancement because I got a bunch from Webs. So I'll kind of do a small review probably about it when I get to stash enhancement, but I think it's knit on size 6. It's either size 6 or size 4. But again, it was a super easy pattern. It wasn't crazy hard. The lace was ridiculously easy. I don't have anything bad to say about that pattern. I think it's a really well written pattern too, and I didn't run into any problems when I was knitting it. So if you're a little bit hesitant on knitting lace, or you're a first time lace knitter, I would definitely go ahead and give this a try. It has kind of a comfortable beginning with the garter stitch, and it really, when I was knitting the lace, I didn't follow her chart. She gives you a chart and she gives written directions, and I followed the written directions because I just found it a lot easier to keep track of where I was. And so yeah, I think it overall was a fantastic pattern. That's all my FOs. I do have some spinning FOs, but that's drying right now, so I might have to wait until I do my episode on Thursday night, and I will have that for you. That's a loop bump that I finished, and if you follow me on Instagram, you will definitely be able to see what it looks like. I'm super stoked. I'll talk to you guys about that later in the week when I do my next episode, but I hit my spinning goal, you guys, and like I said, I'm just crazy excited about it. So, but yeah, my whips are, I have a knit along going on with Erica Wine, and she's known as Erica Schmerica, and we are doing her Tana shawl right now, and that was our Valentine's Day cast on, and I have it in my lovely ribbon bag. Couldn't remember, sorry guys. It's my ribbon bag. I picked this up at the Knot House when I did my trunk show there last month, and I'm addicted. Like, look at the inside fabric, and it's so roomy. I mean, you probably could fit a child-sized sweater in this, but the inside fabric is just as gorgeous. And I think she uses like a canvas when she sewed this, because it's a little bit stiffer and it has a stiffer interfacing in it, but it's not like plushy, like quilty, but it's definitely a bag worth looking into. I know she has an Etsy shop, so I think it's Ribbon Street, I think is her name, the name. It's Ribbon. So definitely look her up. But I'm casting off right now. I'll talk to you guys about that in 1 second. Let me just pull this out. I'm casting off the Tanis, and I'm not going to give a lot away. I hope not. I don't want Erica to get mad, but this cast off, you do 2 different applied borders. You do a applied border for the lace edging, which for those of you who don't know what an applied border is, you basically have live stitches and you're working short row the whole way across, and it forms, it turns your knitting 90 degrees. So you're knitting like over the, if you're thinking of a shawl as a fan shape, you're knitting across the bottom. And then also the bind off is also an applied border. So I'm like, I really wanted to show you guys this as an FO, but I stayed up till 4:30 in the morning last night trying to get the lace done, and I did actually while I was watching many episodes of Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations. So but I kicked it into high gear today, and I did the last 2 stripes, which are garter. And then if you can't see, this is like a lace bind off that's going to become like pointy at the end. And if you look at the pattern, you can see it. I'm trying to like hold it up, but they'll be like, it almost looks like sunrise kind of like rays coming off, but it's a really pretty like lace bind off. And yeah, I'm like in love with this, and the way she has you do increases is very different to any other pattern that I've knit, especially for a shawl pattern. It's not complex. I know when we were talking about knitting this, she said that she had a couple knitters who came to her and said that they were confused about the increase just because they were used to make ones and make one left and rights. But I'm not going to give anything away, I don't think. But the way you increase on this pattern is you actually insert your right needle and pick up the previous stitch on the row below. So when you have like your live stitch, and then you have the stitch that you had knit on the row below, that like yarn that's just going right under it, you pick that up and you pull it up on the left needle and you knit through it. And so it creates more of an invisible stitch than if you were to do a make one. And I think that's brilliant. I think that's really smart, and I actually really like how it turned out. I don't think, I'm going to hold it upside down, but I don't think that you can really see where the increases are. So again, it's not too late. This knit along runs for us until mid-April, and I only cast this on this past week, before the weekend, and I am almost finished. Oh my gosh, am I losing stitches? No, I'm not. Okay, good. It took me like a week to knit this, and like I said at the last episode, I'm not really fast, but this is pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied with my work, not gonna lie. The yarn I'm using for this is 2 different types of yarn. So the lace, which is the main color, is my Helix base again, which is 100% superwash merino, and it is a 400 yard skeins, 100 grams. And I have this much left over. I know this is exactly how much I'm gonna have left over because I'm done. It says you cast off and you're done with the main color. Like, you know, I'm doing the bind off, so obviously I'm done. But it's like probably 20 grams, I want to say. And yeah, so 400 yards, you know, we'll do it. And then with the bind off, with the contrasting color, I have this, and this is the Madeline Tosh 80-10-10, so it's their cashmere base. And this was like 405 yards, I think, a skein in 100 grams. I'll talk to you guys about that when I kind of do like a small yarn review on Madeline Tosh. I was super stoked to work with this. My last episode might have changed my mind a little bit, but again, I'll talk to you guys about that in a little bit. So this is my current whip, and it should be done for, might not be blocked, but at least I'll have it done for my next episode. I plan to try to finish it tonight or tomorrow, but I mean, like I said, I'm just doing the bind off, so it should be done soon. So that is that, and I think I'm going to segue now into future works. Oh no, I have stash enhancement next. Well, maybe I'll do like future whips first, because that just makes kind of sense. But so I don't know if you guys are following this person on Ravelry. I couldn't find them on Instagram because I'm always curious to see if designers post their stuff on Instagram. But I did find a hashtag as I was scrolling through Knitters of Instagram and all that fun stuff. For the Take It All knit along, mystery knit along that's going on right now. I'm pretty sure the mystery part is all finished. All of the sections of the pattern have been released. But if you're not familiar with it, please go look at it. I'm not even kidding. I bought Unicorn Tails to do a Stephen West pattern a long time ago. I think it was his unicorn shawl or something of the sort. And they've been sitting on my shelf forever. And I don't do the Cozy Memories blanket. So I've been looking for a reason to use these unicorn tails that make perfect sense, you know, not in a blanket, because that's not something I knit. But anyway, so I stumbled across this pattern and I fell in love with the pattern first. I hadn't even seen the yarn that people were using, but I was like, wow, you know, that's a lot of colors. Let's just go look at the pattern. So I went on Ravelry and I looked up Take It All mystery knit along, and oh my gosh, lo and behold, it's one skein of Madeline Tosh, at least 400 yards, and then 8 unicorn tails. Now, I talked about this in my last episode a little bit, but I've been on a neutrals kick since I did the doodler shawl behind me. And I'm super excited that I get to use my unicorn tails in this, because you guys, I don't have to knit a blanket, right? Okay, so I'm going to pull out all the yarn and I'm going to talk to you, because I didn't cast it on, but I know about the pattern a little bit. So let me get all the yarn pulled out, and this will help me segue into Madeline Tosh, because obviously Unicorn Tails, they're Madeline Tosh, and yeah, so I'm just going to pull everything out of my bag real quick. All right. So this pattern calls for all Madeline Tosh. Now, it is a good stash buster, remnant, you know, like whatever. If you have, it calls for at least 12.5 grams per colorway of the unicorn tail. So if you want to use, you know, leftovers or whatever, you need to have, I would say safely 14 grams, because your yarn weight, depending on the brand, might vary compared to Madeline Tosh. I think that their fingering singles are a little bit thicker. They're obviously fingering weight, but the way I've compared them to other fingering weight singles, they're a little bit heavier, especially since they're 100%. Let me check. I want to make sure I say this right. Yes, they're 100% superwash. So that being said, just make sure if you want to do this pattern, make sure that you have at least 14 grams of whatever other yarn other than a Madeline Tosh that you're using. So I'm going to hold up, to my knowledge, best knowledge, the colorway in correspondence with the card. But I'm going to do the unicorn tails first. So one of these is, let me get organized, guys. I'm really sorry. I have them all in boxes in my knitting box bag, whatever. Okay. So I'm pretty sure this one is the magnolia leaf. And you guys can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, they all look very similar because they're neutrals. This one, I think is, no, this one is the charcoal. Okay. This one is glazed pecan. I'm not going to be able to hold all these up at the same time, I don't think. So I'm just going to try to hold up as many as I can. This one is rainwater. Let's see if I can balance them. See how similar these two look on camera. And then this one is silver fox. And this one is Celadon? However you pronounce it. So I got these in my unicorn tails. So neutrals-ish. And then my main color, and those are like the colors. My main, well, then I have leftovers of mine because that was only 6. But this is my Gray Lady that I knit, or dyed up for the Harry Potter knit along I did with the O-Loops group. And I had some leftovers from the project that I did for that. And then this is actually leftover from my Doodler shawl, and this is my pearl base. I have 55 grams left over of this, so this will be plenty since I only need like 12. And then my main color is actually Twist Light, and it's antique lace. And like I said, for the Twist Light, that's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it is fingering weight at 420 yards per 100 gram skein. So that is what I have going on right now. I'm really excited to knit this pattern because unfortunately I haven't figured out, because I'm so new to podcasting, I haven't figured out how to actually add photos to my podcast. But if you go on Ravelry, you can definitely find all the information, look at the pattern. It's full of garter stitch and different variations of lace. So each section is different. So it kind of looks like a hodgepodge of lace and garter, and it's stunning. And then you have your main color as like the constant throughout the entire pattern. And the way she just like broke up the main color next to, you know, all the different unicorn tails that you use, it's gorgeous. So I'm like ready to cast that on, and hopefully we'll be able to before my trunk show this weekend, which I will talk to you guys about at the end. So much stuff on my desk. Oh, and by the way, I just wanted to throw it out there that is knit in size 4, but my 4s are Occupado, and I knit really tight, so I always normally go up a size. So conveniently, I had a spare set of 5 Knitter's Pride, size 5 Knitter's Pride Dreams. You know, signatures are good. Carbons are nice. but I like wood because they don't hurt my fingers as much when I'm knitting with them, and I knit a lot, and I'm like constantly putting my knitting down and picking it up and putting it down. And with that much knitting that I'm doing for samples, for shows, and just in general for projects and whatnot, I really can't have my hands cramping up in the middle. So I found that Knitter's Pride Dreams are my favorite needles to work with. They have just enough slickness that slides the yarn off super easy, but they have enough grip that you're not, like, your needles aren't falling off either. Or your stitches, can't even talk today, aren't falling off the needles when you're working with the live stitches. So if you don't own a pair, they're not that expensive. I think the average cost is between $8 and $10, depending on where you get them and what size. So I would definitely throw, like, your most popular size in your stash of needles. If you're a shawl knitter, that would probably be between sizes. I really need to get my tongue to work today. That needs to be between sizes probably 4 to 7. And if you're like a sweater knitter, I would say like anywhere from like 6 to 10 or 11. But I have them all because I fell in love with them. I also have signatures as well, but that hard metal on my hands, and they're super pointy. So when I'm dealing with, especially like with the hedgehog fiber sock, like splitty yarn that, I'm constantly getting my needles stuck in, I really prefer to just use my Dreams. So that's just my little spiel, and by no way, shape, or form are Knitter's Pride, endorsing me to talk about their needles. I'm just doing it because it's my personal opinion, but I definitely would recommend getting a pair, and considering that I've never had any break either. Now, I mean, I've seen people snap size 9 needles in half, and I don't know how you do that, but I have no problem with the Dreams. So yes, do get yourself some. Okay, well, here comes the massive segment of my show, which is stash enhancement. I didn't even go to Stitches West, and it's embarrassing, you guys. It's bad. It's like my 3/4 of my countertop is just what I got. So I'm not gonna wait any longer. I'll just start showing you, because this is gonna take a while. For those of you who don't know, I talked about Loop a little bit last week, and they are my favorite fiber supplier ever. Like, ever. They're amazing. Steph does a fantastic job at her fiber prep, and it's so easy to spin. It's like crazy. They come in these beautifully convenient, and I'll get to why I say convenient in a minute, plastic bags with a drawstring. But hold, check this out. They're self-striping. So if you're not familiar with Loop, that light is creating a shadow. If you're not familiar with Loop, it's a center pull bump. I'm not going to pull out like a lot, but basically you start to pull the fiber out, and it's like almost pre-drafted, especially like depending on what weight you want. If you want like a chunkier yarn, this is like perfect. But if you want a thinner yarn, like what I spun this past week, you just really pull it thin, and it takes forever. But I mean, if you're a Navajo plying, you have to spin super, super tiny. But if you want fingering weight, which is what I did. And but this is, I have nothing bad to say about her bumps. I love them, and I'm addicted, and I'm always on her shop updates, and it's bad. It's like getting bad. I have like 11 to spin now. But oh well, like, how can you not, right? They're gorgeous. And not only that, but I have had problems buying fiber from other dyers and other fiber artists before. Just, you don't know how the texture of the yarn is. And I have a bat of hers that I spun that was 100% superwash merino. And superwash is like one of those tricky things that it can either be really scratchy because it's been processed to remove the barbs on the fiber, Again, if you don't know about superwash, it goes through a process. It's wool that goes through a process. And hair, the fibers on any kind of like animal fibers, not plant fibers, will have barbs sticking off. So like sticking off like this. And what creates felting is not only heat and friction, but that is the barbs of the fiber locking together. And the more you do that, the more it will lock. But what superwash is, it goes through a process that strips the barbs, so you just have a clean shaft of fiber, and it will not felt. That's probably what most sweaters that you say machine washable are made out of. That'd be my like guess. Or they're lying to you and they're completely polyester. But, you know, it happens. But this specific bump, I have like 3 more to show you just from this past week. I'm not going to go through my entire loop stash because we'd be here for another 2 hours. This one is called Daydream, and it's 5.6 ounces, and it was $48. And it's merino, bamboo, and tussa silk. And it is not... Maybe it is superwash. I don't see a separate thing. She's got like she has like all of her different fibers that she uses on a card. Sorry guys, like I'm trying to get it to focus so if you can see. And then she marks them off, what's in the bump. So this one is merino, bamboo, and tussa. And I'm super stoked because I think I've only spun one of her tussas before, and it's really, really soft. It makes all the difference. But like I was saying, with all of the fiber that she works into the bumps and combines together, I've never had that scratchy, rough texture like, you know, you do with some fibers. But, so that's number 1. I'm going to fly through these kind of quick because I got yarn to show you guys too. And then to coordinate with my crazy neutral is what this is called. Au Natural. Right. Okay. My neutrals that I've been like on a crazy kick on. It's so pretty. I just want to put it on my wheel and like go. This one is merino, nylon, and Angelina, and like you can kind of see as I move it, the sparkle. It's not like a crazy amount of Angelina. I don't think I've ever spun one with Angelina in it before, but this one is 5.5 ounces. And I do have another neutral colored one. This one's like my favorite. I think I'm going to take this one to my trunk show this weekend because Friday night they have a spin night at the yarn shop I'm doing my trunk show at, and it just is so pretty. So that's pretty stunning as well. And this one also has some sheen into it. It's merino, nylon, and Angelina, and this one's 5.6 ounces. And that one, I'm sorry, that one is Nouveau Neutrals. Like all the French fiber except this one, Spring Shower. And this one, let me open the bag a little bit. This one is 4.1 ounces, so it'll be it's a smaller bump, and it is merino, bamboo, and tussa again. I also like bright greens with like neutral colors, and then like some, well, I like everything that's in this bump. So that is stunning. But anyway, what I was going to say that I'm going to show you guys next episode is I spun, if you follow me again on Instagram, you will have seen that I was super excited that I spun a 5.6 ounce bump and got 500 yards of fingering weight in Navajo ply. So I really worked hard for that too. I literally was plying, I think, for 6 hours straight. I really wanted to get it off the wheel this weekend. It had been on since like the 6th of February, and for me that's a long time to have fiber on my wheel. So again, kicked it into high gear and got that loop bump off the wheel. It was in the colorway Think Pink, so it was like all pinks and burgundies, and it was just was gorgeous. So I was really, really happy with the way it came out. Next time, I'm actually going to try to get 100 yards per ounce. So instead of 500 with a 5.6 bump, it would be 560. So we shall see if I can get that going. But like I was saying, just a short review of Loop. People look at her fiber and they think that the prices are a little bit steep. But I just want to remind you that I got a 5.6 ounce bump. That's a very easy spin that is processed in a way that doesn't cause me any stress of having to unbraid it and then having to draft or, you know, separate the fiber before I start to spin or anything like that, for $48. And that's not insane, people. I mean, I've seen fiber on sale that's just either a cloud or and a braid, like a roving braid, and it's like $33 for 4 ounces. That's pretty comparable to a price that you're going to pay for a 5.6 ounce bump of Loop. I mean, you're getting 1.6 ounces more than you would, or no, yes, math, terrible. 1.6 ounces more than you would with just a roving braid. Now, that's not for like every fiber that I've seen, but I have seen some pretty steep prices on Etsy and stuff when I'm buying fiber. But honestly, I'm at a point right now where after having jumped down the Loop rabbit hole, I probably will not be buying any fiber from anyone else. And that's, again, I'm not doing a promotion for Loop. She's not endorsing me to do this at all. This is personally my own opinion. But, you know, you spin one and you're like, you don't want to spin anything else because the quality is extraordinary. I mean, I have 11 in my stack. I mean, if you look at my Ravelry page, which is Sins and Needles 89, my only fiber that's not is like one thing of Bloomin' Fiber Arts, I think. I have 11 Loop bumps in there. I bought 6, I bought 4, and I had 2, but I gifted 1. So 11. It's cray. But what can you do? I'm an addict. I'm sorry. Not really, but you know. So, whew. Drink some of my tea. Next news I have is my enhancement from Webs. Now, before everybody jumps down my throat about ordering from Webs, hear me out. Let me just explain myself. I ordered from Webs because I went online and I was looking for Madeline Tosh, specifically to pair with my yarn for trunk shows and examples of my knitting. I have a rhyme and a reason, I'm not going to get into it, but I do it gets so boring just knitting with your own yarn. It really does. Kudos to people who are indie dyers who completely knit with their own stuff and don't buy anybody else's. I can't do it. I love yarn too much, and I look at those colors all day long. I need something new and refreshing, especially if I'm not able to replicate like a color. If I'm trying to just knit like tomato, I would never be able to do this. So I mean, maybe, but do I really want to take the time to try to dye it when I can just order it? It depends on the day, honestly. But okay, so that's my little rant about knitting with other people's stuff. Now, so I really got online to look for a Lazy Kate because when I was getting ready to apply my loop bump, I realized that my built-in Lazy Kate on my Ashford Joy double treadle puts too much tension. The way the yarn is drawn straight up pretty much when I'm feeding it in, and it puts just too much tension on the bobbin. So I really wanted a sideways Lazy Kate that would feed the yarn like out like this, so it wouldn't be as much stress. And especially since I literally spun that yarn the thickness of what you would put in a sewing machine. So I was a little stressed out. And I got on Amazon because I'm a Prime member, and they don't offer it with Prime. So you have to order it through Ashford. I wanted an Ashford. I'm an Ashford girl for sure. I've always had it. I had it in college. But I got on and was looking around shopping online for where I could find Ashford Lazy Kates. And I like their design a little bit better because you can take them down. And since I travel all the time and I never know when I might need to get some yarn off my bobbins, I really wanted something that I could take with me and just shove in my wheel bag. And this is perfect. So it's really simple. I didn't bring it up here to show you guys. And it's just literally, it's like a flat piece of wood, and it has 2 posts that you stick in and you can take in and out. They're not permanent. And then they have 3 metal posts that literally go, you put the bobbin down in between the 2 posts on either side, and then you feed this metal thing through the opening in the bobbin and on either post, and it holds the bobbin in place. And so I just figured, you know, while I'm shopping on webs, I'm gonna just take a look at Madeline Tosh because it's what you do, you know. So I got on Madeline Tosh, and I was really excited because it's been really hard for me to find raspberry cordial, which is my favorite. I mean, you guys, it's like purple blue, but like dark, and it's gorgeous. I know. I need to stay offline stores because it's bad. But I found it, you guys, and I put 3 in my cart, and it's discounted. Do you know how much discount I got? I got like $6 off a skein. And it's because I had 3 of the raspberry cordial in, and I saw the discount was going down. And the lowest discount you can get for a $22 skein of Madeline Tosh Twist Light is $16.95 or $16, I think is what I spent. It's like $6. I mean, like almost, if it's $16.25 or whatever. If it's $5 if it's not, but that's like serious cash. And when you're like buying yarn, that's serious. So I ordered myself some yarn. All right, so the main color that you saw for the Take It All was one of the skeins that I bought, and I bought another one of those. So this is what it looks like in a skein form. So I got 2 of these. That was the Antique Lace colorway. And then Dust Weaver, because, you know, it's pretty awesome. And then 3 skeins of raspberry cordial. But just look at it. Everybody needs more purple in their life. It's so pretty. I got 1 more skein. I know, it's getting ridiculous, but that's okay. Thunderstorm. Again with the neutrals, the Dust Weaver and Antique Lace and Thunderstorm I thought would go together and make a beautiful shawl of some type. But Dust Weaver and Antique Lace are actually really too close in color together. Maybe if I separated them, they're just too similar. Maybe if I separated them with this and something, but I just thought that would make like a really stunning shawl. So, yay. That's all of my current stash enhancement. I do have some more stuff coming. I don't know when it's going to come in. But it's not really yarn or fiber related. Maybe I'll talk about this really, really quick because I don't want to bore anyone that doesn't care. Knitting journals. They're becoming really popular. I'm liking this idea. I like being able to access your information on the go. Something that you can just tuck in your bag and have all that information there. Rather than having to spend like hours and hours on Ravelry, you can just jot down notes in a notebook. So I ordered a notebook. It's here. I don't have it in front of me, but it's like a composition book. And I have some washi tape coming because we need that to be fabulous. We need our knitting journals to be just as pretty as the knit object. So I thought, like, why not? So I have actually some washi tape coming from Honolulu, and I am really excited. And I will tell you guys the Etsy seller that I got it from, their prices were insanely reasonable compared to everybody else on Etsy for washi tape. I think the most insane price I saw was like $9, but I saw the same washi tape on this one seller's page for like $2.30 or something like that for like an entire 10-meter roll. And so I got like 12 or 13. Like, I'm not going to go through that much in a short amount of time, but I'll have an insane amount of washi tape. So, sorry, my hair's like all in my face. That's it for like yarn and knitting related stuff. I do have some yarn news that I'm really excited to share with you guys. But if you just wanted to stick around for the knitting and the stash enhancement, au revoir. I'll see you next episode. Thanks again for joining me. And if you're sticking around, let's talk some yarn news and some blather. Really excited. I was shaking this morning when I got the response from this yarn shop that I sold to. Skein Cocaine, you guys, right? The queen of yarn. They actually ordered from me, and I'm in, I don't think it's the Wool Workshop, but that's what the unofficial yarn shop name is. It's like the Wool Workshop. But Skein Cocaine will be hosting some of my yarn on their auctions on Thursday and Friday nights at 8 o'clock. Please don't miss it. It's on Instagram at Skein Cocaine. And I will be doing a trunk show. Yay, another one. I'll be doing a trunk show at the end of April. I think April 30th is what we agreed upon. But Katie, who I am talking to at the Wool Workshop, will be working with me to solidify that date. So if you're in Roanoke, Virginia, or live nearby, please come say hey. And I will be there all weekend. Actually, it's going to be a 2-day trunk show, and I will be coming in on a Friday. So if you guys want to meet up, maybe do an unofficial knitting night and hang out, let me know. Yeah. Skein Cocaine. Trunk show this weekend is at Clover Hill Yarn Shop, which is in Catonsville, Maryland, and that's about 10 minutes outside of Baltimore. And if you don't know, they also are indie dyers as well. They're indie dyers of Tempting You, and their yarn is absolutely gorgeous. You should check them out as well. I will be at their shop for their spin night on Friday, this Friday, like 4 days. I'll be there, and I'm not sure when that starts. I might be able to squeeze that information in on my Thursday episode, but you probably won't be able to watch it until Friday morning, since I do record so late due to my motherly obligations. During the day, I make time for my daughter, and I push all my yarn and knitting stuff towards the end of the day. So look for that information Friday morning, and so spin night, I will be unloading, and the ladies have assured me that if you can't make it Saturday or Sunday, they have no problem with you buying yarn that evening on Friday. But I will be there Saturday and Sunday all day during their regular business hours. Clover Hill Yarn Shop, I'm sure if you look it up, I think it's like 10 to 5, I'm pretty sure, or like 11 to 5. Yarn shops vary, so I don't try to like pretend I know every hour, because that would make me look a little crazy. But do look it up on Google. All their business information and shop information is there. I am also doing a trunk show at Forever Yarn in Doylestown on March 12th. This is my 3rd trunk show there, and the ladies at Forever Yarn are fabulous. Just a bunch of girls who love to get together and knit, talk yarn, talk, what's new and popular in the knitting world. And, yeah, so everybody should come, check that out. I get to hang out with my girlfriend from college, who I never get to see anymore, which is so sad. But, my husband, God bless him, is going to be going to this one with me again. He went to the first one. And he goes and he hangs out at craft brew pubs while I do a trunk show. And then we all go out for dinner later. But he's a good sport about putting up with my knitting and yarn life. He grew up with it, so it's kind of like, whatever, you're doing your thing. It's, yeah, just go. And super nice about it. But especially nice when I knit him things. So, yeah, we will be at Forever Yarn March 12th. That's an all-day event as well. Only one day for this one, so it's just that Saturday. And then if you watch the last episode, I will be at Stitches, Tennessee in the end of March into April. It's that layover weekend from March to April. I think it's like the 30th through the 3rd or the 2nd. It's a long week. weekend. It's like, I think I have to be set up by Thursday. There's a premiere Thursday. I think it's an all-day market on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like crazy nervous about driving there myself, because it's from where I live, Tennessee to Nashville, York to Nashville is 11 hours if you drive straight through, which I will not be doing, because I guarantee you I will be guzzling coffee, and you know what that means. So yeah, and I have to stop and eat and stuff, you know, like you do when you drive halfway across the country. And well, not halfway, but far away. So I'm going to be doing that actually by myself. If you're going to Stitches, Tennessee, you would like to meet up, I will be there a day early, and I'm looking for suggestions on places to go eat. What's good in Tennessee, you guys? I just watched, actually, funny enough, like I was saying, Anthony Bourdain. I'm a huge fan of his. Yeah, he's like the godfather of food. I love him. I think he's awesome. So I was watching his thing about Tennessee and like barbecue and like Southern cuisine, and I hear crane is actually, like the bird crane is a big thing to eat in Tennessee. Never knew. But yeah, if you guys have any like suggestions on places that I could eat that are good, or things to do while I have some downtime, once Stitches kicks in, I'm probably going to just be going, vending, and crashing and repeat. So, but I'm really excited. Hosted by Knitters Magazine, huge event. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody, all of you that are coming, and everybody that talks to me on the interwebs. And you know, it's awesome to actually meet the people that you just, I mean, you see their face on like their photos and stuff, but you don't get to talk to them really. You're just kind of, it's like texting someone. You're not talking to them directly. But when I go to these events, it's awesome. So please come up, say hey, talk to me about whatever, like knitting, spinning, you know, just whatever. So I look forward to meeting everybody. But I'm really excited to be part of it. So, oh, speaking of Stitches, I actually wanted to throw out there, this is like kind of segueing into shop update stuff. I'm not doing any more shop updates. I'm not doing any more until after I get back from Stitches, just because I have all these trunk shows lined up. I have a couple orders to fill in between, and I also have to get ready for Stitches myself. I want to bring you guys the glitz and the glam that I can put together, the best of the best that I can dye for you. I will be coming out with some Stitches colorways that will be exclusively offered at Stitches. I will not be redying those colorways to keep in my own shop. So if you're going to Stitches, you get some exclusive colorways. I think I'm going to do like 4 in all fingering weight. Just fingering weight's the easiest for people to, you can buy one skein, you know, fulfill project quantity requirements. That was like a tongue twister, but, you can fill those requirements easily with one skein of fingering weight. So I think I'm just going to keep it in the fingering weight category. But that kind of being said, with exclusives, I have my sock clubs up right now. And on my Etsy, it's only going to be up. Now just remember, I close my shop on Thursday, and it will remain closed until I return from Stitches and actually have time to sit down and dye some yarn to restock. But I do have my sock clubs, and I will be fulfilling those orders, even though they fall over all the craziness that I have coming up. You get 1 skein per month. It ships out within the first week of every month. It starts the month of March. So March, April, and May, you get a skein of yarn. I have 3 different bases up right now in the shop. I have my Helix, which is 400 yards per 100 gram skein of 100% superwash, and it's a 2-ply. I have my Pearl base, which is 600 yards in 100 gram skein, and it is 80-20 split of superwash and silk. It's fabulous. It's what I knit my Doodler shawl. That colorway was knit in pearl, and it gives the knitting like a quality like nobody's business. Just fantastic. And I also have my zigzag sock. And each different sock club offers a different colorway per month. So Pearl and Helix will not have the same colorway for the month of May, or like vice versa for any of the other months. I will not be repeating any colorways as well. So the sock clubs are the only way that you can get those colorways. They're up. I only have 10 per club. I'm kind of keeping it like chill right now because I'm on overload right now with dying, and you know, being a stay-at-home mom, it gets to be a little crazy, and keeping my sanity with my own knitting and stuff. So, but that is up in the shop. Again, that will be taken down. The availability will be taken down to purchase those Thursday at 2 p.m. is when I close my shop until I get back from stitches and I have time to breathe a little bit. Otherwise, I'd be in like high panic mode. Sorry, hold on one second. Something popped up on my screen. Okay. If you have anything that you want to see me talk about in Ravelry, I try to keep everything that I possibly can up to date, but then again, I have like a Facebook page that Primrose Yarn Company is my Facebook page. I have my Ravelry page, Primrose Yarn Company. Then I have Instagram, and I have Twitter and Tumblr, and I just try to keep everything organized and all the information provided on everything. But if you really want to find out all of my information, Instagram is the best way to follow me and find out new and upcoming stuff. Also, promotional codes and coupon codes are also up on Instagram, solely on Instagram. So, again, Primrose Yarn Company is C-O, not C-O-M-P-A-N-Y. Yeah, spelled that right. But you can definitely find out all that information, anything new and upcoming, anything exciting. Pretty much, I take a picture, I caption, I post. So, I think that's it. But if, like I'll finish the thought and then I'll like end. But if you want to see anything else, please feel free to do it in the Ask Me Anything thread that I have in my Ravelry group, and you know, anything that you want to see, any information you want provided. I don't really do show notes. I could try to do them. If you really need them, you want to see them, you can comment in the comment below and let me know what kind of information you really want to see. Just because, and I don't want to sound like I'm a busybody all the time, but the less that I have to type out and sit down and like think it through, the easier my life will be. But if you guys really need it, I have no problem doing it. So please, any information that you guys want to know, like yarn weights or needles that I used, or my thoughts on any kind of yarn or anything, either post it in the Ask Me Anything thread on my Ravelry page, or please feel free to comment below. And I think that is everything that I have to talk about today. Again, thank you so much for joining me. This is only my second podcast, and I'm like really loving doing this. So I'm loving the feedback I'm getting. Thank you so much. Oh, one more thing. Thank you so much to everybody who gave me feedback on my first podcast. I didn't know that if I had my phone this way, it was going to like crop my video like this. So I've now turned my phone this way. And so hopefully it will fill out the entire video screen. Hopefully. I mean, I make no promises, but I hope it posts right. But again, positive, constructive criticisms are always welcome. Thank you so much for everybody who took the time to watch, and you know, who constantly supports the arts and indie dyers like me. It means the world that you allow us to do what we love. And for me, especially being a stay-at-home mom, that is what I never would have thought, that I would be running my own business and still be able to have a family where I didn't have to put my kid in daycare, because it means a lot to me that I get to spend all day with her and play and I don't know, just be at home with my child and not have to put her in somebody else's care. So that means a lot, and I thank every single one of you who support the indie dyer world and yarn and knit, everybody. So thank you again. But with that being said, I will say bye and see you next time. Hopefully I will have it posted on Friday, my next podcast on Friday. But yeah, happy knitting, guys. Bye.